right. This is our podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Zach.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Darian.
We're gonna talk about music and the industry and how it shaped America today and just the impact it has on different communities. And yeah, let's get started. Really? Okay, well, we can talk about the impact first. Like, I feel like the impact in music is very large in the whole world, but I really feel that, like, in the black community and minority communities, it has a real big impact because I feel like there's a lot of songs out, like old songs, new songs that people can relate to, and they feel like they kind of form a bond with that artist. Like, for example, like for me, like Lauryn Hill, like that's my like I love Lauryn Hill. Like I know her story. I know that she be tripping sometimes, but like I really love like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That's one of my favorite albums because I just relate to it so much. And you'll often hear me like reference songs, and like to me Lauryn Hill's a legend. Like I think she'll be remembered forever, and I think she'll, even though like some people have their opinions about her and how she handles things, but just her and her soul and how she thinks of things, I think that's like legend mentality.
For sure. And like talking about Lauryn Hill, and like obviously the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was the biggest album that she dropped, but also her working with the what is it, the rap? Oh, I'm drawing a blank.
Refugees?
Refugees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna say the Bee Gees. But yeah, her work. I guess it's cool seeing like her, Wyclef Jean, all them like just collaborate, and it shows just how these different groups can come together and just have such an impact on society. Like I guess we can bring up NWA
Yeah.
and in the what's the name of that podcast again?
Straight out of Compton
Straight Outta
podcast.
Compton
Yes,
podcast.
the Straight Outta Compton podcast. That one, how they like break it down basically and talk about their impact in West Coast, especially with the black community. But it's the like some of the first truly in your face gangster rap. For instance, Ice Cube in Gangsta Gangsta. I won't play the song, but
Yeah.
it's pretty aggressive, and they're in
Or
your
even No
face.
Vaseline, like that's one of the hardest
Yeah.
diss tracks ever to me. And
Honestly,
like
I never really heard any of their music until I watched the movie. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, yeah, there's a reason they're like this. You pushed them to be like this, so they're gonna act like this.
exactly, like they
And,
put
and you
in
can't get mad at them for that. You made them
exactly.
like this.
They push barriers. They made things like people now when they do diss tracks, it'd be like they want to like be careful and mindful and like don't want to hurt people's feelings. But like if you listen to No Vaseline, yeah, like he came for them and he put it all out there, and like that just shows the culture and like how things was made up, and like they really started that movement, even with like violence with the riots and stuff that broke out because of their songs like F the Police. Like they made that movement for people like us and generations after them to really be able to like speak their voice on how they feel about different issues in their own community.
Because you could really just chalk up the diss track to it being like who's on top. Because back then there wasn't like all the different genres of hip hop we have today. Because now you don't really have to diss someone if they're not in your genre because they'll be looked at differently.
Yeah.
So someone who does trap doesn't have to diss someone like Kendrick or like
Right.
Eminem because they don't have to compete on the same level with them. But back then it was just one big genre. It's whoever's on top stays on top.
Right. In the gangster rap genre, that was the big thing during that time. So everyone was trying to come out and prove that like they was really like about that life, like this is really their life, and like I feel like NWA really like embodied that, and they had proof that like this is really how we live, and like this is not no made up thing. Like this is how we come in, and like we gonna let y'all know the real. We not gonna sugarcoat it. We not gonna hide stuff. Like if y'all want to know how it is, like in the streets, like in the hood, like we're gonna tell you like this is what it is, and like I don't think people were ready for that. Like
Yeah.
I think people was shocked because it was like you hear the stories like
You see it on TV, but
you
that's
see it on
it.
TV, you don't
meet the
know. So
people
when
who
the
live
movie
that.
came out and people saw, it was like, oh, this is really how it was. Like this is really what they went through, and I think like that shocked a lot of people because a lot of people probably thought like they put the extra, even with like the Suge Knight scenes. Like, I don't know if y'all seen Straight Outta Compton, but the Suge Knight scenes, how he was like beating people and how he was aggressive and how he was like like head honcho, and like I think that shocked people because they were just used to like the whole like stereotype of Suge Knight and not really knowing like he was really like that.
Oh yeah.
Like
Did y'all hear about the theory that Suge Knight gave Eazy-E AIDS?
Yeah, with like
Yeah,
the
Yes.
needle, like he injected him
they
with it or
did.
something
Yeah,
like
like the
that.
scene where
In
there's a
the movie where
scene.
they beat him
Yeah,
up
there's
and
a
they
scene
like
where they
cut
beat
it
him up.
out. Yeah.
And that's supposedly to happen there. But anyway, I'm gonna change the subject just a
Yeah.
tiny bit. I guess still talking about the big influence of West Coast rap. I guess we'll transition over to the
Yeah.
Tupac era.
Yeah.
So like, there's some article. No wait.
The Tupac
Oh
podcast.
yeah.
Why do you still care about Tupac
Why?
podcast?
Yeah, the podcast. It talks about it. I forgot who said it, but they said they had there's little kids when there was little kids wearing Tupac shirts, and it's like they weren't even born yet in that era. So Tupac really changed the impact in the society. Like,
Yeah. Would
he,
y'all consider Tupac a legend?
Yeah, because
yeah,
even people who don't know his music know his face and know
Yo.
who he was.
yes,
Like
Yeah.
you're gonna find like white boys all over the country wearing his
Who
stuff, and
love
they
Tupac?
never heard any of his songs.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some. I know like this one cat I work with. He's 18 years old. He's never obviously wasn't alive when he was,
Yeah.
but he like his parents and stuff. They bring it onto him like this is that the influence that he had on the generation before us was so big that they're pushing. They put it onto us, and of course we like his stuff too. So it's gonna go from us onto the next, onto the next, onto the next. So one thing they said in that Tupac podcast that really stuck with me, they say the thing about these celebrities when they die, like the way that in like the form that they do, is that when they die, they're stuck in that age forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like all the influence that he did at the time, it still resonates, and it
Yeah.
always will.
But you also have to be careful with that because I don't know if y'all seen recently, T Pain tweeted that like he don't think Aaliyah would be as big as like she was if she was alive, and I totally agree with that because don't get me wrong, like Aaliyah was a great singer, pretty
oh
face,
yeah,
like she had the whole image,
She
but
never went on the downfall like a lot
yeah,
of artists
she would
do.
have never. I don't think
Yeah.
she would have ever came to what she was when she passed away because I think when she passed away, that just put an image like this is Aaliyah now, and like that's what like you were saying, like Tupac died, we're stuck with Tupac and what he was then, and so it's like you don't ever have like nothing to go off base. All you have is what they were when they passed away, and like
Yeah.
that's how they became. Even with Biggie, like don't get me wrong, I think Biggie's a legend. Like I think Biggie's a legend, but I think like him and Tupac, that whole like beef and all that, like that would have played out differently if they both would have lived longer to me. But I think they're both. I consider both of them legends.
I feel like it sort of would have been like the Drake and the Meek Mill thing. Like they beef for like what 2 years, and after a while
Yeah,
they're
and then
best
they were
friends
like good
again.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There was no really like realism to it. It's like, oh, I call you a name, you call me a name. That's it. There wasn't like
yeah.
anything that actually cemented it. Like you hear about it, and it's like, oh, okay. Because back when it was Tupac and Biggie, it's like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. What's
yeah,
gonna happen? Because you
And
never knew.
sometimes I think like some beefs be like like publicity
Oh,
stunts and
definitely.
like
Like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. They're the
yeah.
same. They're the
yeah.
same person,
This is
honestly.
Yeah.
And
I think it just they need like attention. Like don't get me wrong, like Cardi B is coming up right now. Like she's
Definitely.
really coming up, and Nicki, like don't get me wrong, she has her fans as her fans, but like
she had her time.
she
This
has
was-
like
She's
Cardi
on the
B is really
downfall.
coming up, and so like she's powering and she has that female rapper, and like it's females who listen to Cardi B who not even like that, but because you hear that song, it puts you in that mood. Like you think you like that, but like Nicki's on her like to me right now, Nicki should just stick to Futures because I feel like that's where she comes the hardest.
True.
Like she comes harder on Futures than she does on like her whole song. Like I didn't even listen to her whole album because I was like, it's just she not the same. Like that's not old Nicki to me.
yeah.
sure.
She not. To be honest, I don't really. I listen to Cardi B more than I listen to Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj. I mean, Cardi B is just like, oh, you want the. I know. Some people said that the one the Migos or I don't know, but they they woke her rhymes, but
Everyone got somebody that writes stuff for
Yeah,
them.
a lot of
But
people
like
do.
even people have
Ghostwriters.
stuff right for you, you gotta be able to bring that to life. You gotta be
Yeah.
able to bring like somebody the Migos can write a rap for me and it ain't gonna sound the same as me and Cardi B rapped it. Like, you gotta have that personality. But like you were saying, like in the one article about it was just like the impact of black artists, it was mentioning that like impact, like people, artists can have impact on up and coming artists, but they don't, like, they don't appreciate that. Like Nicki Minaj had an impact on Cardi B. Like she paved the way for female rappers to come through, and like that's what
Mhm.
people don't understand. They want it to be this beef, but at the end of the day, they're all rappers. Like Remy Ma, Lil Kim, they paved
Yeah.
ways for Nicki like to come through. That's why when she was beefing with them, I'm like, man, they made it possible for you to be you. So like, there's really no point in beefing with them, because like if without them, like it'd have been way harder for you to come up, especially during the
Exactly.
time you did when rap was a male dominated culture, and it still is. So it's like, you like, not saying you should just be giving thanks, but like proud that like you got these people above you that did give you an image of like what you could be.
Yeah, I feel like hip hop's one of the biggest things where people truly do need to respect their elders.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like agree with their lyrics and stuff, you have to appreciate them. Like for
They paved
instance,
the road for you.
exactly,
Without
Yeah.
them,
like
we wouldn't be there.
there's trap music. There would not be trap music if
There,
it wasn't for
Yeah.
other stuff.
but
It
like
was proud.
trap music
Exactly.
would not be a thing. Like gangster
And
rap was really like a prelude to trap music, because like
mhm,
nobody was talking about selling drugs and how they doing it and how they moving it. Like nobody was talking about that. That was more of a like, we're gonna keep that because we're really doing that. So we're not about to put that in our song and then the cops come raid us and we really gotta go to jail because some stuff we put in our song. But now like you hear everybody talking about in their song like what drugs they selling and how they doing it. So it's like everything has something before it. Like there's nothing really now in the music industry that's brand new. You know what I mean?
It kind of like goes back to the point of like violence in rap because back in the 80s and 90s it was everywhere. You had people, Tupac, Biggie, even DMX. I didn't know his songs are like really homophobic to actually listen to. It's like holy shit, this is
yeah,
really bad.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's minimum violence, but more it's like how many hoes I got, how much money I got, how many drugs I'm doing. It's kind of like
Right.
it's the violence that isn't really violence. Like it's not. It's like a glorified thing that you can do without actually hurting somebody.
and
Yeah.
I guess like and what's crazy about that to me is these rappers they rap about it, but 9 times out of 10 they don't even do it anymore. They just use that as
They
a
know that's what
ploy.
that's gonna sell.
Exactly.
Yeah, two in the Tupac interview, and I think it was in the 1996 interview. I think his last interview, he
Mm.
was saying that oh that rap music isn't violent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like the people, like he talks about the violence in
Yeah.
the song,
I believe
but
that because rap music
the
doesn't.
people do the violence.
Right. And I agree with that because rap music, it doesn't tell you, hey, if you want to be real, go out and sell these drugs and go to jail and do all. It does not tell you that. Like, it doesn't. So you can't say that rap music causes violence. Like, don't get me wrong, people listen to it and they might be violent, but I don't think that it causes that. But, like, going back to what I was saying, when I was saying there's nothing really new in the music industry, I will say, though, artists of different cultures are coming up now. Like you have a Logic, a G Easy, people who are like, everyone's always
Tyler
skeptical.
Creator. It's
Like
like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
people who
even,
push the boundaries. Like
yeah,
you have
yeah,
people
I
who
like those
aren't.
strange rap.
You
Yeah.
have people
yeah,
who aren't. I love Flower Boy. That's my favorite album single. But you
Hmm.
have people who are who don't fit the stereotype. They're not
yeah,
actually African Americans and white people. Here
Hmm.
they're like
different,
they're South American. They
yeah,
infuse house trap and rap all together. You even have some really good Korean rappers. You don't
yeah.
understand what they're saying, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cause I'll even say me, like I'll admit, like sometimes I'm scared. If it's a white rapper or white, I'm even skeptical. Like, okay, like what this gonna sound like, cause it is a different like a voice, it's everything. So you do have to. But I'll even say like it's some Jeezy songs that I really mess with, and it took me time to just actually like, okay, like let me actually just sit down and listen to it. And like
Yeah.
I think that's the thing today, like. I think it's harder for white rappers and white R&B singers and white like sing like to come up now because they have the whole like I'm not black, but I want to be in an industry where it's predominantly black
Yeah.
artists.
So they're kind of going against the past and who's in and now. Like white rappers kind of to be like, do I have to? Am I gonna end up like Eminem, or or am I gonna sound campy like the Beastie Boys?
Yeah.
You have to
yeah.
be able to move
And
past
then
that.
sometimes you'll get
Like
like
Little Dicky.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like
Oh,
or
true.
even like an MGK, like you see he had his little couple hits and he disappeared. Like
Yeah.
you didn't
Yeah.
really hear nothing from him, and like every now and then he'll drop a single, but it's still like it's hard for white rappers to stay on it. Like they'll come out with like a one or two bangers that people really like mess with, and then it's like okay, that's cool, but now we're gonna go back to like everybody else. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
I think it's harder for them to come out, and I think I honestly think that white rappers succeed more when they're underground and not
Yeah.
mainstream. Because people, there's people that's actually listen to music. When they get mainstream, they gotta come out with stuff that's with the like with what's
What's
going
hot?
on, what's hot right
And they
now.
start getting commercialized.
Yeah, and they start trying to make them like, oh, this like I hate when they try to make like a story like he has all black friends or he's from the hood or he's
Yeah.
from like nah, just let him be him. And at the end of the day, like if he's gonna succeed in what he's doing, he's gonna succeed. It doesn't matter if he's from the hood or who his friends are. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah, and they
Because
were.
like even though rap was like created by blacks, it doesn't necessarily mean it's created for us only. It's if we want it to succeed, we have to let it move past us our race. Because certain music types usually don't. Like country, it's its own thing. It's not gonna move forward. Rap is always pushing the boundary.
Definitely.
It is one of the most popular genres in the world, and as more and more people get introduced to it and start adding their own in, if we put them up and say you can do it, you don't have to do it like this,
Yeah.
it can only go forward.
And I think it's interesting, like, cause, well, one, like, rap, I feel like a big part of it is like staying relevant.
Yeah.
So I think they like have to either work on their lyrics or they have to make some fire beats to like stay relevant within the hip hop community, or else you'll just start falling off. But I think one of the other articles we were talking about was like the most influential rap songs of all time.
Rap songs,
Yeah.
political change.
Yeah, political change. Oh yeah, those
And
are
you
good.
see that more now. Like you saw that then with F the Police and all that, but you see that more now that like the killings of black individuals and stuff like that. You see like Common coming out with songs about it, Kendrick coming out because now like that's our reality and that's something that we have to accept and like. I will say like that's hard putting out a song like that because that's how you truly feel, but you don't know if that's gonna sell because at the end of the day, like there's people that's in denial, there's people that don't want to hear that or they want to put that to the side, like they want to have their rap music and they want to have their real world and like they don't want the two to coincide. That's why like I respect Kendrick, I respect Common for that because like you have a voice, like use it and like I appreciate like you don't have to put out a song like that. Like you could have just said your 2 cents and been like, I don't like this, I don't like that and kept it pushing. But putting out a song really shows like I'm passionate about this. Like I feel this way about that.
One thing I love about Kendrick Lamar is no matter what he drops, people are gonna eat it up.
Yeah.
And so the last two albums, To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, those definitely were like talking about the black struggle.
Yeah.
And not only were the lyrics good, but the beats were nice, the flows were nice, the transition, everything about the production is beautiful. So people, of course, people listen to it like, okay, this is good. You listen to it, whatever. Then you start actually reading the lyrics and going along with it, and people are like, damn, he's actually got like some stuff, he like some powerful stuff he's got to talk about. And I think that's what also helps hip hop become like such a big like education tool. Like some people like to just like stereotype it to like it's all about like demonizing women. It's all about like rapping about selling drugs and getting money.
I've actually seen people who are actually saying that like it's like the downfall of Western civilization. Like it's just bad. It keeps the black community down. But what's keeping the black community down isn't music. It's kind of what you guys are doing to us. It's kind of on you. You just want to put it on music. It's like you want to blame everything that really has no point.
Yes. Hip hop it has, and it's one of our best ways of getting able to get our voice heard, and it helps that I'm pretty sure hip hop's the #1 genre in music now.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I think like kind of the issue with hip hop is like a lot of the songs that actually do tell a story kind of get pushed back, and it's like
they're popular for like that time period.
Yeah, and the people who just want to make money, they put out like the same kind of generic song. And it's not really us eating it up. It's like white suburban kids eating it up because it's not really making them think about their situations. Kind of like money, drugs, it's this that. It's what they want, but it's not something they're ever gonna have to live through.
Yeah, like for example, I don't know if y'all listen to Brent Fayez or if y'all listen to any of his music. Like he's like an R&B person, like Crew, the song Crew with Shy Glizzy. Like it's him, but like his other music is fire. Like he's one I mess with him heavy, and I got into him like last year, and like I listened to him, but you won't see him on mainstream stuff or really popping because he talking about real stuff, talking about women, and like he comes from a different perspective, so it's like people are not used to that. So like I didn't put so many people on. And like, oh, I like this. Like, I like this. I mean, why haven't I heard it? I'm like, it's not gonna ever be. He's not gonna ever be that artist. Like, he's never gonna be that artist where everyone knows about. But I appreciate that because like he could like when he put out that song with Shy Clizzy, he could have been like, I'm gonna make only this type of music now, but he
Yeah.
didn't. Like he's like, nah, like I made my one song, but now like this is the music I made.
Yeah,
Like
and that's good. He stays true to himself as well.
yeah.
I guess
What
I
does education?
yeah, I was about to transition into
Education.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, anyone can make rap. You don't have to have like there is no
Yeah, there's
educational
no.
boundary.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can be a high school dropout and still make really good songs.
It's
You can be a
true.
Even
college
like
grad.
TK
Tekashi.
like 14 and he like
Yeah.
he made it and like I feel like you don't need no like education to make rap, but I do feel like
It will help you a
it'll
lot.
help you
Yeah.
and I also because you'll know different types schemes of it, like you'll know the political side, you know the money
Mhm.
side, and I also feel like it takes a personality too because not everyone could rap or like I could write a poem, I could write some lyrics, and it'll sound dope. But if I rap it, if I perform it, it's not gonna be the same as someone who got that persona, who got
Mhm.
that hype about them. So it's like that's why you do have ghostwriters because like there's people who write crazy lyrics. Like Neo's wrote songs for Beyonce. If Neo performed that song, it wouldn't have popped off if like when Beyonce performed. You know what I mean? So
It's not
like
even with rap, like even Elvis, all his music was written by black
black
people,
people.
but Elvis was just a
Mhm.
performer, so he could perform it better than they could.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like they
And he
both
was
were in.
like the main person in his genre. Like he took over that genre. Like Elvis, like when they hear Elvis, like that's the only person you think about really when it comes to his type of music, like that rock blues mix. Like that's all you think. Like you can ask anyone, black, white, Asian, they're gonna know who Elvis is. You know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So like he's someone that's worldwide in the music industry.
And it's like that the 21st century blackface podcast where they try to stereotype you into one thing. And there's so many different genres, subgenres, whatever you want to call it, of music. And it helps that it's able to it can rep it like no matter what for rap though, like for instance I'll use rap as the example because that's the main one we've been
Yeah.
attacking. So you, for instance, I'll be like Kendrick Lamar. Be like, oh, Kendrick Lamar is good, but have you heard his other rappers? Have you heard of J Rock? Have you heard of Isaiah Rashad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're also like one of them, J Rock raps about gangster rap and like just living in the hood.
Yeah.
Then Isaiah Rashad is more political. It like he'll rap about like growing up in the struggle as well, but his more about like he talks about how we've come so far as black people. In
Yeah.
one song, Ronnie Drake, he talks about we've come so far. We have a vote. We have our names on. We have a name. We have our own coffins now.
Yeah.
And then I guess I don't even really know where I was going with that.
Even like, but like good music, like you got Kanye, you got Big Sean, you got Kendrick's a part of that, but he's a branched off from that. You know what I mean? You got Tiana Taylor, like they all have their own type of music. Like you cannot say like yes, they all rap or sing, but you can't say that they all could go in one genre and just be okay. Like they all have their own vibe, and like I appreciate that because you don't want just one group of people who all rap the same or all rap about the same thing because it's like you might as well just make one one song, like you know what I mean. So it's like it's good to have a variety of things.
I think it really helps tie all that we've been talking together. Like this representation, it's basically a trickle down effect. We have the rap as our representation, and then we use that to influence others. And once they hear the stuff, they understand. Like they're starting to understand what we're trying to say.
You'll open up to a conversation.
Exactly, and which leads to the education process.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all ties back to one thing, but I think there's so many branches off of one. Like the music industry has so many different branches and so many ways you can go, but I think it all comes back to one thing. Like everybody wants to be hot. Like that's just the thing. Everybody wants to be hot, but not everyone's gonna be able to take that same route, and everybody's hot is not the same. Like some person might want to be underground hot. Like some people are happy with just the people who support them because they know it's genuine support. But then you have those people like, nah, I want to be hot. Like I want to be played on the radio. I want to be everything. Like I don't care if it's fake love or whatever. Like I want to be that name. So it's like you have your different people in the industry, but I think like that's what makes the music industry like what it is, and like that's why I think it shapes what it is.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all got anything else for the fellow people of the podcast?
Anything y'all want to say?
I mean, I guess like this was a confession. Like I never really listened to rap because I was afraid of being seen as like the black thug, and I was like, I did everything I possibly could to avoid that stereotype. And when I started listening to rap, I didn't really listen to all the really hard stuff. I just listened to like Kendrick, Tyler, even Donald Glover. Like Donald Glover.
Oh yeah, he's really
and I enjoyed it because it wasn't like they weren't just rapping to be gangsters. They were just rapping what they went through or rapping
Yeah.
about what they enjoy. It
Even
didn't have
like
to be bad.
vice versa with you. There's a lot of black people who don't want to listen to country or listen to rock or listen because they're like, I'm black. I'm not supposed to listen to country. I'm not supposed to. And like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you listen to whatever sounds good to
Yeah.
you.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
if you want to listen to, if you're black and you want to be a diehard country fan, like that's
Okay.
you. Like
Yeah.
Darius Rucker.
be your yeah, be your country you want to be. Like there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that is like if we had to talk about issues, that would be an issue. Like you don't have to stick to something because majority of people who look like you listen to this. Like if you want to listen to a whole different genre, or you want to make your own genre up, or like a neoclassical, like all that, you could do that. You don't have to be that black person that I listen to rap all the time. I like to turn up all the time. Like not everyone's like that. And when you get to know people, you realize like that's a front. No one just listens to rap all day, all night.
Yeah.
Like that, it gets tiring.
It
Like
does.
it's draining. Like no one wants to turn up and be rah rah all the time. Like it's just hard.
I mean, like music and food are the two things like it transcend race. Like you can have two races who hate each other, but give them each other their own food and they'll love it.
Yeah.
They won't like you per se, but they'll like your food at least.
Like soul food, I know a couple white people
love
who
soul
love
food.
some soul food when that's traditionally a black person's meal, you know. But yeah, that's our podcast about the music industry. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah.
Ugh. All right.
So you can